I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
That's Booby.
And Vita and Chip and Culpy.
Booby's chilling out in the tree.
Yep.
I respect him for that.
How can you not?
Dream Theater. Is this a Patreon pick?
It is.
Which group is this?
We are finally caught up on our Patreon picks. I don't know, I can check.
It's right there, isn't it?
This is the Epic Underground. It's the last song from their album Train of Thought, and it's the progressive metal.
Okay. Okay. So this is Dream Theater, more progressive. So the last time we just listened to a progressive band, and I like them. It was Opeth.
Oh.
That was a pretty cool song.
I forgot to go in and read those comments because I'm curious to see what people were saying because you didn't like them and you gave them a positive review now.
Well,
so
somebody gave me like a breakdown as to why the constant, doom 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 whatever foolishness at the end of the Harlequin Force was.
Yeah.
It's basically getting lost in the woods and like always, going in circles or whatever.
Huh.
Either way, I hated it, but I love that other song. That other song was really, really good. Especially the cleans. Okay, so this is In the Name of God by Dream Theater.
Yep.
Who is it, the Epic Underground? Who's in the Epic Underground group?
I'm confused by them all. I told them to send me videos. I said that.
Yeah, hello. Send us some videos. Good Lord. See, if I was in one of those things, I would be...
And make some badass video for us to put on there as a commercial for their group.
I know.
Yeah.
Jeez. All right. Well, I guess they don't want to do
Not
that.
important to.
I guess it's not important to you. All right. If you want a shirt, check it out at the bottom. And if you want to check out my channel, it's Middle America Vin and Sori. You want to check out her channel, it's My Sori Life. One of these days, I'm going to do that interview for you. Just not now. All right, let's go.
I should have gotten you a couple hours ago. Your mood was so like, yeehaw!
I was killing people in Madden, that's why. I was destroying the world.
You really were.
Yeah, don't play with me. I'll hurt your feelings. All right, let's go.
Go. Wow. I never heard that. Did you hear that?
The background chant?
Yeah.
No.
I didn't either.
That's interesting, though. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. His trampling out the vintage where the grapes of wrath are stored. He hath loosed the fateful lightning of his swift and terrible sword. His truth is marching on. You know this song. Glory, glory, hallelujah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's very ironic that they would put that at the end.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if they know the history of that song.
What is the history?
Battle Hymn of the Republic. That was written during the Civil War.
Yeah.
And it was the North. It was the North side.
Yeah.
Saying that they were God's judgment against the Confederates.
And that's the song they came up with?
That's Battle Hymn of the
really?
Hymn of the Republic.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Well, it's interesting to me because the whole this song is about religious, people using religion to justify violence.
Oh, yeah.
And then they end it with the Battle Hymn of the Republic, which is people using religion to justify violence. But I think most people would say that the violence was justified.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an interesting irony, because there are times when people believe that violence is justified. Of course, I'm a pacifist, so for me as a Christian, it's never justified under any circumstance.
Right.
Which is really interesting because...
You mean lethal violence.
Lethal violence, right. It's really interesting because a lot of people seem to have a problem with my pacifism.
Yeah.
Even atheists.
Yeah.
But then they're angry about religious violence. Like, well, pick a team, sir.
Yeah, that's true.
There seems to be a couple religions that are getting called out here, but...
Did it remind you of that Waco thing?
Yes.
Waco Drive? Was it Waco Drive?
Waco, Texas.
Waco, Texas.
I used to live in Waco.
That's where you used to live.
Yeah, Waco, Texas, yeah.
Yeah. When he was talking about, like, the multiple wives that was, like...
Yeah. Well, there's a couple. There's the Waco thing, and then the Mormon thing.
Yeah.
Because there's
I thought he said something else that kind of...
The unconsenting multiple wives or something like that?
Yeah, but I thought in that thing there was something that he said that kind of made me think it was twisting faith into violence.
Right.
Was right here. Self-proclaimed Messiah led his servants to their death, 80 murdered in the name of God, 40 sons and daughters, and consenting plural wives. Perversion. Oh, yeah, I guess those could be two different things.
Yeah, I don't know who the 80 people are.
Hundreds of Well, I thought that how many people died in the Kool-Aid drinking one?
Jim Jones. I'm not sure.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought it was.
I thought it was way more than Jim Jones. I thought it was like hundreds of people died.
Oh, really? I thought it was like 80.
Really?
I didn't think it was hundreds. But my gosh, maybe it was.
Mass murder suicide of 918 of his followers.
Oh, 304 were children.
Yeah, he
I had no idea.
Yeah, that was hundreds of people. Yeah.
It was bad enough when it was 80, but I didn't realize it's so wild that many people can be drawn away by something.
Yep. So I don't know who the
oh my gosh, even their children.
The first one I remember was Marshall Applewhite. I was eating my breakfast before
Ooh,
going to school.
I don't think I know who that
Marshall Applewhite was the Hale-Bopp guy. So there was this comet called the Hale-Bopp comet, and he was like, "That's the thing home," and then he.
Was this guy recent?
Well, it was recent to me anyway.
Were you a kid?
Yeah, I was about to go to school. I was eating my cereal.
Oh.
I was eating my cereal before on the way to school. Well, yeah, there is a Hale-Bopp comet, and our 22 years of classroom here on planet Earth has finally come into a conclusion. Graduation for the human evolutionary level. We are happily prepared to leave this world and go with T's crew. I don't know who that is, but. Yeah, they all killed themselves because they were trying to get on the comet.
How did they do it? Same thing? The Kool-Aid type thing?
50 members. Yeah. So, there you go.
So they all drank some Kool-Aid? So this Kool-Aid thing was more widespread than just that?
Well, I mean, when they found with bags over there. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, dude. Like, no. Yeah. So these guys, like, they get followers and.
Wild.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's no joke. They were all saying, like, they all had their, like, goodbye videos or whatever and everything, and then.
Well, I was thinking for a second. Well, I mean, Jesus' followers, they all.
Marshall Applewhite was 38. The other guy was 900 something. So there's an 80-person thing here, but it's all the same thing. It's a guy who's claiming to be the Messiah.
Yeah.
And then everybody kills themselves. What are you saying? Jesus led?
How many died in Waco Drive? Oh,
Waco, Texas. I don't know.
Waco, Texas. Well, I was thinking
Waco, Texas is different, though. Waco, Texas is different.
That's true. They didn't kill themselves.
That was the government that killed them.
That's right. Yes.
That was the cult of the government.
Yeah.
That was Janet Reno and Bill Clinton that did that job. Yeah.
No, I was thinking, well, the Christian religion, what the heck is the difference? Because they, so many of them died, and then like, wait, they didn't kill themselves though. The government killed them.
Yeah, that's the government.
Because they believed in something.
Yeah.
They believed something that they saw to be fact.
Right.
So it's not the same thing either.
Yeah. No. I think it's very important to make a distinction between when the government, and I think that Waco, Texas, that the dude was crazy, and that he would have given R. Kelly a run for his money as far as pedophilia goes. But we went in there. We violated Posse
but I don't think that he was doing, or at least when we were watching that documentary thing, it wasn't like the stuff that.
My point is that
it's not the same.
It's not the same as what happened with Marshall Applewhite or.
Yeah. No, I was saying R. Kelly. What he was doing with those girls was way worse. It seemed than what was happening with this Waco guy. Like, yeah, they were young. This pedophilia, like that's wrong. They both had young girls, but he was like treating them like animals, making them go to the bathroom in buckets and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that guy was doing that. Waco guy.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I mean, there's not much distinction to me. Because that guy was. But anyway, the point of the song is that you get this guy and he, of course, our retort is that the real Messiah dies for his people.
Yeah.
Doesn't lead his other people to die. He dies for his people. And then it's the bad guys that come in and kill us.
Yeah.
Which is the way it's supposed to go. But we have to say historically that the first 3 centuries of the church, we were awesome.
Yeah.
We were great. Loved our neighbor. People would abandon their kids out into the into the square.
Square, yeah.
Leave them to the town square. It's called exposure. Like you have these documents where this, centurion's like, yeah, I know you just had a girl, expose her. Just leave her out in the courtyard, or they just drown them. And
I don't even like it when people drown kittens.
And we would go, Christians would go and snatch up those little kids, give them a bath and baptize them and adopt them, and that's how we outlasted the Roman Empire, because they were killing their kids and we were taking them and adopting them. We were awesome. And then we came out from the catacombs. We got some power. Constantine hooked us up with some power. We got the sword, and then
that's that part. Underground religion turning toward the mainstream light. Is that what that is?
Well,
then what does it say?
I don't know if he's going there, because I'm not sure how familiar he is with church history, but it is an ironic stanza.
And then right after, justifying violence, citing from the Holy Book, teaching hatred.
Right. Because that's what happened when we were outnumbered and getting persecuted. We didn't have any numbers in the political arena. Then the only way we could influence people was through changing hearts by our example.
Yeah.
And then we got a little taste of power, and then we brought forth the Dark Ages. Now, I'm not saying a lot of that had to do with diseases and things of that nature, and just plain I get it.
Yeah.
So we're not completely to blame for the Dark Ages.
Yeah.
And of course, as hardcore Protestants, there's Protestant responses to that. But the fact of the matter is, as a whole, as far as Christendom goes, at least in the Western world, it wasn't good. Even in the Eastern world, Constantinople, same thing. So, it wasn't until the Great Schism. Huh? You had a Great Schism? Because some people were angry? So, we didn't do very well when it came to power. I think, I still think we're in the very, very early stages of the church. And so, what history has shown us up to this point is that we're not mature enough to handle power. And you can even see it with the evangelical right. We're still not mature enough to handle power.
We always do better under persecution.
Right now, we do much better when we're persecuted.
Yep.
I believe eventually it's going to get to the point where we have
be like that.
power, but we know how to handle it. And we know, what to go after and what not to go after.
How to love our neighbor.
But, look at evangelicalism in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Literally spent millions of dollars on gay marriage. Fighting gay marriage. While we've got millions of homeless people. We've told a bunch of immigrants to get the hell out of our country. All of which God says He's going to destroy. He's destroyed nations for us, mistreating the foreigner.
Right.
And now, since we lost the battle against gay marriage. Now who we're going after? The foreigner. So
that's not good.
We're in the most powerful country on the planet that's ever been, and we're a very powerful voting bloc, and that's what we do with our power.
Yep.
Not advocating for the weak.
Yep.
Not, and then even when we advocate for the weak, like with abortion, people still call bullshit on us because we're not willing to fork over any money for social programs once they're born. And I know, logically speaking, that one doesn't necessarily have to inform the other, but it's very hard to convince people, oh yeah, you care about this downtrodden person, when every other downtrodden member of your society gets shafted and gets put under your evangelical Christian boot.
Right.
So it's just, we don't do very well when we have power.
Yep.
Because we don't know how to handle it, because we don't know what to prioritize. But when the persecution is coming after us, we know what to prioritize.
Yeah, I remember when we were having that discussion and people were like, no, people shouldn't be able to abort their children. And then they were saying, yeah, but we need to shut down the social programs and so not help them more. So that way they have resources to be able to save the lives of children. No.
Nope. Don't you think that young lady, the old single mother, would be probably more apt to give the kid a chance if she had an understanding that maybe she had a chance? Because what they're telling her is, hey, you have that kid, you're screwed. You're going to be screwed for life.
Oh, yeah.
And look at the stats. It's true. If you look at the stats, that's why what Ben Shapiro said, if you want to be successful financially, at least get a bachelor's and get married. Because, when you're able to allocate resources a lot better when you're married than when you're single and you start procreating. And so, but anyway, my point is that if you're talking about violence in religion, there's a lot of them that can be used, and it's extremely powerful. And that's not to say that non-religious people aren't violent. I don't know. Go to China right now. Go to China and try to be a Muslim.
Yeah.
China is trying to cleanse that country of Muslim belief. Well, specifically, they're going after Muslims. Now, we've known that they've always gone after Christians.
Yeah.
But the Christians, you're able to go underground.
What's their religion that they want to promote?
It's atheism.
China?
Yeah. You didn't know that China was atheist? Yeah.
No,
man.
I didn't know that. I thought.
Yeah. They're sending these people into concentration camps and forcing them to denounce Islam I'm going to do a Middle America thing about it.
You should.
Soon, but they're not playing around. Like these dudes are not. These atheists are not playing around. There's like 1 million of them in China right now that are getting worked. And
there's no such thing as militant atheism.
God Almighty. So I'm only saying that to say I recognize that non-religious people can be violent.
Well, yeah, and I thought the same thing when I saw that line come up in the thing. I'm like, well, it's not just religion that incites violence. There's lots of reasons why people, resort to violence.
I agree with that. However, theology is a very, very, very potent weapon in the hands of a bad person.
Yeah.
And religion is, because here's the thing. So Jordan Peterson said, and like I said, I don't believe Jordan Peterson is really a theist, but he's intelligent enough to realize that the concept of God is important in order to structure a society. So here's his mentality on it. Peterson basically said, okay, so when you have people, hierarchy is inevitable. And then the problem that we started to have is somebody's at the top of the food chain.
Yep.
And then so, the guy reports to this guy, reports to this guy, reports to this guy, and then, there's a guy at the top. Well, then the question inevitably becomes, who does this guy report to? So then we formulated this idea that this guy reports to somebody above him. And he's beholden to this, and that's God, right? And so God then becomes extremely important because God is the one that manages the guy that's at the top of the pile so that you don't have complete and total tyranny.
Right.
Well, that's a very powerful idea. So now you've got someone that's like got the ultimate final say, because we as Christians would say God has the ultimate final say.
Yeah.
So if you can convince everybody down here that the guy with the ultimate final say is saying you need to do X, Y, and Z, that's extremely powerful.
Oh yeah, I mean that was Pharaoh, right?
Right. Well, yeah, Pharaoh. Well, what Pharaoh did was he figured out, well, shit, this guy's above me. Everybody's above me, right? So what I'm going to say is, I am the incarnation of that guy that's above me.
Yeah.
And it's a way to circumvent the problem so that he could go back to having ultimate authority.
Yeah.
And nobody could keep him in check because he's saying, oh, of course, yes, there's a God above me, but I'm the incarnation of that God, or I am the image of that God on the earth. So it's a way to circumvent that so you can have the tyranny. It's very, very interesting stuff.
Yeah, well, I guess maybe I misunderstood. I thought you were saying that the guy at the top, like, formulates a plan so he can say, oh, this is what the head guy is actually saying.
No, what I'm saying is that, what Peterson's saying, that we collectively as a society formulated the understanding of God to protect us from the tyranny of the guy at the top.
Oh, okay. All right.
So the point is, in Peterson's mind, we constructed that idea to insulate us from complete tyranny. But, of course, I don't agree. I think that God exists and that, we were his idea, not that, he was our idea.
Right.
But when you say that the guy at the top, who is unquestioned, which is what it means to be God, who can say to him, what have you done?
Right.
That's what it means to be God in Daniel, anyway. When he's saying, you should go and kill all those people, well, that's extremely powerful.
Yeah.
That's not the same type of power that an atheist government has. The atheist government is basically saying, with Yarlovsky was basically saying, look, man, if 10 million people need to die, if 10 million of these religious people need to die, then so be it, because they're impeding our progress. So for Yarlovsky and the Soviets, it was like, okay, it's about progress. It's about getting to where we need to get to.
Yep.
And some people you could convince with that, but I don't think it's as powerful as God is telling us to do X, Y, and Z, because you can't question it.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that. Yeah.
Which, of course, I mean, you can't really question the dictator either.
Yeah, but the dictator's influence comes from outside. You know what I mean? But if they can convince you inwardly to do a certain thing,
right,
then that's the ultimate form of control.
Right. So yeah, it was very interesting. But then I was looking at the lyrics, and I'm like, shit, they ended with the Battle Hymn of the Republic.
Yeah.
Which was used to inspire the Northern troops.
To violence against the South.
He died to make men holy. Let us die to make them free. Mm-hmm. That was one of the lines.
Yeah.
Again, it was about slavery, and so like you're fighting a righteous cause, but even your favorite book, The Grapes of Wrath, it was based on this. It was based on that song.
Oh, okay.
He's trampling out the vintage where the grapes of wrath are stored. So that song is like, hey, you're the North, you're fighting for righteousness, and you are God's arm of justice against these nasty people over there in the South. And of course, we agree. We think they're right. They were God's arm of justice.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And I think America got the death penalty. We got 600,000 people died. Mm-hmm. Because if you were caught with a bought man or a sold man in Exodus 21, you got the death penalty. Mm-hmm. So the entire nation got the death penalty. So that one was like really crazy on the mind because I'm like, yo, the entire song is talking about how horrible religious violence is.
Yeah.
And then you have this.
Then you end there.
Then you end with this, Battle Hymn of the Republic, which, I think everybody would say, well, good, the North was right to go and kill those people. So,
is this based on any scripture that stands?
He's trampling out the vintage where the grapes of wrath are stored. I mean,
Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. Mine eyes have seen the glory. Is that in the Bible somewhere?
Well, I've seen the King, the Lord of Glories, Isaiah 6.
Yeah.
And then you've got Isaiah 66.
The mine eyes part that.
Well, mine eyes it's just a KJV way of saying my eyes.
Well, I know that. But I wanted to know what verse I was thinking of that.
Is that Isaiah 6?
Maybe.
Is that Isaiah 6 in the KJV?
Maybe, I don't know. I used to read Isaiah 6 a lot, so it might be.
It's probably the King James version of Isaiah 6, right?
Maybe.
In the year that King Uzziah died, let's see. He says, wretched man that I am, whatever.
Mine eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts. That's
right.
it, baby. You're so smart.
Yeah. So then, so it's that, and then it's Isaiah 66 where the warrior comes and he's trampling the blood, and the blood is splattering from Bozrah, and then then of course was it Revelation 21 where Jesus is trampling the winepress of the fury of God Almighty.
Yeah.
Don't mess with me. So it's like it's combining all of those in the song, but it's basically saying that we are on the side of righteousness.
Yeah.
And I think that like sometimes if you say, okay, killing in the name of religion is wrong, okay, and you say, well, most people are not pacifists like me, and even as a pacifist, I still say there's room for killing because not everybody's a Christian. So you say, okay, killing in the name of religion is wrong. Okay, I'll give you that. Do you believe that every form of killing is wrong? Most people say no. Most people say, okay, we should have killed those Germans over there in World War II. Or we should have killed those people in the South.
Yep.
Okay, so then on what basis is killing justified? And on what basis is mass killing justified? It's not as simple as just saying, oh yeah, killing in religion, that's bad. Okay. Right. Well, what if a religious person, because there were lots of religious people that was sought as their duty to stop Hitler. Is that wrong?
Right, yeah.
What about the religious people that saw it as their duty to stop slavery? I know that Abraham Lincoln wasn't purely trying to rescue black people from slavery, but there were thousands of northern troops who felt that they were called of God to stop slavery. Well, was it wrong then? Well, this is not that simple as saying killing in the name of religion is bad. It's not simple. That's why Augustine, spent so much time formulating his just war theory. He had to formulate a just war theory because it's like, okay, now the sword is in the hands of Christians, and he was trying to figure out, okay, like when do we deploy that and use that power, and when is it wrong for us to deploy that and use that power? So I would say, as a Christian, as a pacifist, but I'm in the minority here, that Christians should never engage in any sort of lethal, any sort of lethal combat for any reason, no matter how virtuous the reason is. But I'm in the minority. Most Christians would say, well, like for example, let's say that we actually found WMDs in Iraq, and he was gonna like really go and deploy that shit and blow us all to hell. I'm pretty sure that no matter how far on the left or atheistic you are, people would be like, no, we should have gone in there then. Well, so my point is what is the ideological basis for when it's right to go and kill somebody?
It's a complicated
It's not
question.
a simple question. Sometimes killing in the name of God is bad to some people. Sometimes it's not bad to some people. You know what I mean? So it's not that simple. Anyway, brilliant song. I generally don't like Dream Theater, and I was very biased against this song as soon as I heard the title. But man, that chorus!
I know, I liked it.
And then toward the end, they were doing their little musical interlude. That's why I didn't like them the last time, because they just went on for 5 minutes and look at me, I'm a brilliant musician. I'm like, I know you're a brilliant musician. Can we get back to the song? But like, there was something that he did. Or they did, when it was like a lot of like, and then and then like it seamlessly went back to the chorus. Like you didn't even know what was happening. And I'm like, damn.
I thought they did a really good job on this song.
Damn, that was really, really good. I felt like the solo or whatever. I just don't like those types of middles. I can't stand those types of middles. Where it's just like, we're going on and on and on. And I was like, ah. But this one, you know, I'll give it a pass because it was so seamless. All the rhythm changes and the time signature is like, you didn't know that it was happening. You were just like...
And there was some unique sounds in there that I had never heard before. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, it wasn't like the Ghost thing where you were like, it was just abrupt and just stupid.
And I liked, like, lyrically what they were trying to do with it and how it wasn't like... Sometimes it's just basically like an F you to religion.
Right.
But I didn't feel like it was that.
Right.
I felt like it was just kind of calling out, like, overall the issues that we have going on. And
right.
I don't know. It wasn't like... It was, like, kind of negative against, like, religion, but at the same time, to me, it seemed kind of positive.
Well, he's asking questions, you know, does following faith lead us to violence? And I don't take that as a rhetorical question, meaning he already knows the answer, he's just asking the question for the effect. I think he's really asking the question, like, does it, you know, this keeps happening. I mean, what year was this?
Like 2000, I said, it didn't seem like it
2003, we were in Iraq, weren't we?
I don't know.
Yeah, we were well into Iraq by then. So, it's like, I think it's a genuine question. I think it's a question a lot of people ask, like, does following faith lead us to violence? Of course, I don't believe that. I think it's human nature.
Right.
I think if you start off with, I think Sam Harris said it, like, when he's talking about 9/11, where he said, otherwise good people then get convinced to go and fly planes, and I'm like, okay, that's where we part ways. I don't think that otherwise good people are doing this.
Because you don't believe anybody's
I don't believe anybody's
Yeah.
born otherwise a good person. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but I don't know.
Everybody's
I don't know
born
specifically
bad.
What he was saying, but like when you know, there's certain shows that we're watching, and as horror surround these people, they become progressively more and more violent. You know what I mean? As a survival thing. Like otherwise, they would have never done that level of violence. But
yeah, but if you'd have put Jesus in that situation, he never would have done it. He wouldn't have done all that stuff those people were doing. So the situation only pulls out what's inside of you. Now, sometimes it's buried very deep, and the bad situation digs this stuff outside, but it was always inside of you. So
yeah,
that's part of, you know, certain selection processes or whatever in the military is to find that place and activate it.
that's true. Because some people are just set on being like a coward or something like that, and they'll run every time.
Well, yeah, which is also sinful.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so like I don't think that. See, that's like the major disagreement. I don't think that religion corrupts people. People are already corrupt, and it doesn't matter. As soon as you get into power, somebody's gonna get killed. Period. You know, people always say, "Oh, Iceland and all these other people, they're generally peaceful countries." No, they're not. They're killing babies all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
well, it's kind of like
there are no good people.
It's probably seemed like a petty example, but remember I was telling you about that person. It was years ago, and I was saying like this person has spent the majority of their life overweight on the scale, and then they lost a bunch of weight,
right?
And then they were like a different person, and they weren't as friendly or as nice, and they were more all about themselves, and just the way that they engaged people was different. And I was like, wow, like I was like, Vin, I can't believe it. Like, she's completely changed now that she lost weight. Like, literally losing weight changed her. And you were like, no, it just gave her the opportunity to act out those things. When she was a certain weight, she didn't feel like that she could be...
She didn't have the societal capital.
Right, to be able to...
Right.
But it was in there, and that's why the minute that she was able to put that out, she did.
Yeah.
So, interesting way of looking at it. But then I actually could see it, you know, after... Yeah. But
good
anyway,
song.
This is good. For me,
what do you give it?
I'm dancing on a 10. I'm like 9.8, 9.9, 10?
I don't know. This is a no doubter to me. This is a no doubt 10 to me. I'm very, very surprised. This is Opeth, and this is now Dream Theater.
Yeah.
I don't know if I gave Opeth a 10, but I thoroughly enjoyed the song.
And this one was like a 15-minute song or something like that.
Yeah, I know that.
It was really good.
Yeah. It was very, very good.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
All right, I'll throw in with you. It'll be a 10 for me, too.
So many things I can say about this stuff. Good Lord. All right. All right. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.
Got a string.